Okay. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It has finally begun. If you don't know me, my name is Emily Ann, also known as Mhahi on TikTok. I talk a lot on there about everything from music to religious deconstruction to autism to centaurs to, of course, the Hunger Games. I'm happy to say that after months of you guys asking in my comments if I would consider making long-form content, the day has finally arrived. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much to everybody who has supported my journey this far. If you're here this early in my YouTube journey, thank you! I'm so happy you're here. Be sure to click the subscribe button and the little notification bell so that you can know every time I post. Without further ado, let's put on our Hunger Games hats and get started. I'm going to be reading off of a script. If you see me looking down, that's why. I'm not going to keep this on because it hurts my head when I wear it for too long. Let's jump in! I've been on a perpetual reread of The Hunger Games for over a year now, with no hope of it ceasing anytime soon. I love this series because no matter how many times I read all 4 books, I glean something else from them. This series has captured the hearts and minds of readers all over the world since it was published. From the gripping narrative, to the intricate character development, to the rich political undertones, it is regarded by many, including myself, as a literary masterpiece. Delving into the world of Panem, you are transported as a reader into a dystopian society where survival is paramount, and every character, no matter how seemingly insignificant, contributes to the tapestry of the story. One of the primary reasons for the enduring popularity of the Hunger Games franchise is the depth of its characters and storylines. Every character, from Katniss Everdeen to President Snow to Greasy Say, is meticulously crafted with many layers of complexity. It is so easy to be drawn into their struggles, motivations, and internal conflicts, making each character feel tangible and relatable. Whether it's the supposed love triangle between Katniss, Peeta, and the closest thing District 12 had to an Elon-worshipping Andrew Tate podcast listener, or the moral dilemmas Katniss faces as a tribute in the arena and as the face of the rebellion, every storyline adds a tremendous amount of depth to the overall narrative. The series rewards multiple readings as readers discover new facets of the characters and uncover hidden details with each revisit. Through its subtle foreshadowing, symbolic imagery, and nuanced character interactions, The Hunger Games invites readers to delve deeper into this world, providing a rich and rewarding experience with every read. Like a lot of fans, though, one of my absolute favorite things to do to the book series is to see how it stands against the accompanying movies, as well as to point out literally every single thing they didn't include as I watch them. As far as book-to-movie adaptations go, The Hunger Games are some of my all-time favorites. The first movie in the franchise is one I rewatch at least once a week or whenever I don't know what else to watch. Considering some of the other book-to-movie adaptations we've received in the past, I'm looking at you, Percy Jackson, I can't deny the fact that it is, in my opinion, one of the best and most true to the book adaptations I have ever seen, even if I am biased because it's my favorite series. But despite all of the things I love about the films, I can't help but feel a surprising amount of the story was never even mentioned in the films. From Peeta losing his leg, to Katniss losing her hearing, to the fact that Haymitch's games aren't ever even mentioned in the movies. Not to mention the amount of plot they left out of Mockingjay Parts 1 and 2, even though they literally had 2 parts to include all of this plot. Anyways, enough pieces of the books were left out of the movies to make me feel like the film franchise stands on its own with a pretty different storyline. Today, I wanted to discuss one of the characters from the books who never made it to the movies, give them some much-deserved time in the spotlight, and discuss some of the ways she impacted the overall plot as well as Katniss herself. The character in question? Madge Undersee. Madge is the daughter of the District 12 mayor and one of the only friends that Katniss has prior to her first games. We don't know much about what she looks like other than her light-colored hair and slender build. In the movies, Katniss gets her prized Mockingjay pin that she wears as a token of her district in the arena from Greasy Say, but in the books, she gets it as a gift from Madge. To me, Madge's absence from the Hunger Games movies represents a profound missed opportunity to enrich the emotional depth and complexity of the narrative. Her exclusion from the cinematic adaptation is a source of tremendous disappointment for me, not only because of her significant impact on Katniss's character development, but also because her story serves as a poignant reminder of the harsh realities of life in Panem. In Chapter 27 of Mockingjay, Katniss's discovery of the true depth of District 12's devastation and Madge's fate adds a layer of tragedy to the narrative. While Madge's presence may be fleeting in the books, the role she plays is pivotal. The very moment she gives Katniss her gold Mockingjay pin marks the beginning of Katniss's transformation from reluctant tribute to defiant revolutionary. Madge's importance transcends the symbolic significance of the pin. As the daughter of the mayor, she's privy to the inner workings of District 12's power structure, However, her family ties to the games also exposed her to the profound loss and suffering endured by its participants and their families. Growing up in the shadow of her mother's grief, Madge understands the weight of suffering and loss inflicted by the capital's tyranny. She is someone who has always been haunted by the games, who grew up with a mother immobilized with mind-numbing pain after she lost her sister in the second quarter quell. Both she and Katniss experienced what it was like to have a mother who was always just out of reach. Madge is a prime example of the generational trauma of the games, suffering losses that closely echo Katniss's. Even if Madge wasn't technically a rebel herself, though she could have been considered one simply for aligning with Katniss at any point, she was still robbed of something precious by the Capitol. Long before Katniss does, she recognizes the importance of the Mockingjay symbol. She would not have just given her something made of real gold, something that could keep a family fed for months, simply as a to-remember-me-by gift. The pin was, in Madge's own way, not only a token of remembrance for her aunt, who wore the same pin when she went into the arena, but a symbolic passing of the torch. Her tone when she gave it to Katniss had a sense of urgency in it. Even if Katniss wasn't yet aware of its implications, Madge knew that the Mockingjay symbol held power, long before Katniss and her pin ever became the face of the rebellion. Despite her privileged upbringing, Madge is not immune to the harsh realities of life in District 12. Her friendship with Katniss, a girl from the seam, underscores the socio-economic divide within the district. Their unlikely bond serves as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Through their friendship, readers are reminded that solidarity and compassion can transcend societal barriers. Her presence reminds readers of the drastic socio-economic divide, even within the districts themselves, as people like Madge never had to take out Tesserae and up their risk of being reaped for the games just to eat. Katniss, a girl from the poorest part of the district who experiences a very stark change in status following the games, is close friends with both Gale, someone being forced to continue working right after being whipped almost to death and still barely making enough to support his family, and Madge, someone from one of the richest families as the mayor's daughter, who Gale is shown to hold at least some level of resentment for purely because of her wealth and status. Ordinarily, two people like Madge and Gale would not have interacted, but Katniss served to bridge that gap between two people in completely different walks of life. It was because of this that Gale was able to receive medicine he so desperately needed because of Madge. Unity between classes was frowned upon in the capital, but it was the very friendship between these two girls from completely different but parallel living experiences that ultimately resulted in the entire country revolting in the capital. Madge's presence provides Katniss with moments of solace and companionship amidst the chaos of the Hunger Games. Their clandestine meetings in the woods and shared interests offer a respite from the brutality of their circumstances. Madge's friendship serves as a lifeline for Katniss, grounding her amidst the turmoil of the rebellion. Madge was Katniss's only female friend, and one of the only people we see Katniss being just a regular teenage girl with. Katniss already has very few female relationships, and I think showing the audience what Katniss's dynamic was like with Madge would help them see a little bit more nuance in her other relationships. Despite the clear indication that Madge and Katniss cared deeply for each other, Katniss still found herself wondering whether or not they were actually friends. Making friends was difficult for Katniss, but Madge's relationship with her and the way that other people talked about her show that it wasn't because she wasn't well liked. I think the films would have benefited so much from including Madge as a way to highlight the fact that people were drawn to Katniss because of her authenticity and her honesty, even if she wasn't consciously doing anything. Their interactions provide Katniss with rare and needed moments of normalcy and vulnerability. They might not gossip or talk about clothes, but they sneak off into the woods together. Katniss teaches Madge how to shoot. Madge starts teaching Katniss how to play piano, but ultimately mostly plays for her, which I feel is a detail so frequently glossed over, considering the fact that for so long after the death of her father, Katniss had all but exiled music from her life, aside from singing to Prim and, later, to Rue. Madge never put pressure on her to perform. She never expected anything of her. When Katniss was with Madge, she was temporarily able to shed the weight of her responsibilities as a victor and just connect with another person on a personal level. Madge was such an important part of the story, not only for the role she plays in the overall narrative, but because she reminds the audience that Katniss is just a teenage girl. She's just a child who wants to do normal teenage girl things like sneaking out into the woods with her friends, not becoming the face of an uprising. She needed a good friend, and Madge is simply that. She's someone who brings sick people medicine in the middle of the night, someone who sneaks Katniss the Capitol newspaper to keep her informed, someone who brings things back into Katniss's life that once brought her so much joy. Considering the fact that Katniss is such an unreliable narrator, Madge's unwavering support and understanding for her serve as a mirror, reflecting her inner strength and resilience. Despite Katniss's own insecurities, Madge's quiet admiration reinforces Katniss's sense of purpose and fortifies her resolve to challenge the capital's tyranny. Through Madge, readers of the series witness the profound impact of Katniss's actions on those around her, highlighting her ability to inspire loyalty and admiration through her authenticity and selflessness. It's also worth noting the comparison between Madge Undersea in The Hunger Games and Mayfair Lip, who is the daughter of the District 12 mayor in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Although Mayfair plays a much larger role in the events of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes than Madge does in The Hunger Games, I think it is so interesting to see how Madge's relationship with Katniss and Lucy Gray's relationship with Mayfair serve to further contrast Katniss and Lucy Gray against each other. I remember reading about Mayfair in the books and immediately getting excited because it was like another Easter egg I had discovered that connected Lucy Gray to Katniss in another way. Again, I understand why the films would have chosen not to include her, but because of Mayfair's role in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I think it would have been great for movie-only fans of the series to be able to draw those same comparisons between the two characters. Speculating on the nature of Madge and Katniss's relationship, I cannot help but ponder the potential for romance amidst their deep connection. While their friendship is characterized by mutual respect and understanding, there is an undeniable undercurrent of unspoken feelings that adds layers of complexity to their dynamic. Their bond transcends mere friendship, hinting at the possibility of a deeper emotional connection that remains unexplored in the books. This is all to say, if Madge had survived and Peeta and Katniss hadn't worked out, I think Madge and Katniss would have ultimately just moved in together and coexisted for the duration of both of their lives. Were they in love in a romantic sense of the word? Perhaps not, but was Madge in love with Katniss? I think yes. Simply because I think it makes everything more interesting and tragic, and nobody will ever convince me that Madge is not a lesbian. I would have loved to see what would have become of their relationship if she had survived, but as it stands, I think she is such an important character, and one of the greatest tragedies of our time is the fact that she was excluded from the movies. At the end of it all, Madge was just a regular girl trying to survive, just like Katniss was. And even though the odds were supposedly in her favor as the mayor's daughter, she didn't end up making it out alive. Her death is a grim reminder of the brutality of the capital regime, a reminder that no one, regardless of societal or political standing, was immune to it. Madge's untimely demise serves as a stark reminder of the capital's indiscriminate cruelty. Even if I can understand why the decision to remove her was made, my heart will hurt every time I think of her and imagine the possibilities that could have come with having her character included in the films. Would they have expanded on her canon the way they did with Effie? Would we have been able to glean more from her interactions with Katniss because of her unreliable narration? Her absence from the films diminishes the narrative's richness, depriving audiences of the opportunity to explore her character's depth and complexity. While I acknowledge the challenges of adapting a sprawling narrative for the screen, Madge's exclusion represents a missed opportunity to delve deeper into the intricacies of Panem's dystopian society. In conclusion, Madge's omission from the Hunger Games movies is a regrettable oversight, no pun intended, that detracts from the story's emotional resonance. Her character, though brief in the books, leaves an indelible mark on readers, offering insight into the human cost of rebellion. So, what do you guys think? How do you feel about Madge's exclusion from the films? What other characters or details from the book do you wish had been included in the movies? Let me know in the comments below, and I would be thrilled to discuss these comparisons further, because this is truly one of my favorite things to talk about. In the meantime, though, check me out on all of my other socials. I'm mhahi on TikTok, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Spotify, etc. And be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know every time I post. It really helps me out. I don't have a posting schedule planned yet, but I would like to try and upload at least once a week on here. Thank you all for watching, and tune in next time, where we will discuss Deli Cartwright, another forgotten Hunger Games girly pop, whose absence from the films just stung a little bit. Until next time, bye!